Tehillah the Gemara. Dr. Tehillah the Gemara. We are up to the top of Daf Mem Amud Beis, and we just got to the halacha that a person should always look at himself like he's mechza chayiv and mechza schos mechza chayiv. So if he does one mitzvah, he'll be machri himself l'toiv, and if the world is also mechza chayiv and mechza schos, that one mitzvah will push him over at l'toiv and the whole world l'toiv. So literally save the world. Thank you so much. So now we're just going to finish up until the Mishnah. Zog to Gemara. Even if someone's a tzaddik gomer his entire day, all of his days, and at the end of his life he's married, he loses his previous tzidkis, which is schwer. Why would he lose the good things that he did? But we will see. His tzidkis won't help him at the end when he's married. But on the other side, then ain't maskir lo shuv rishoy. He could do rishus his whole life and then do tshuva at the last minute, and they don't even mention the rishus. If a guy did Averis at the end, if he was posh at the end, why should he lose all the good things that he did? Let's look at it like he has both. Why totally ignore all of the mitzvahs that he did? That's speaking when he regrets what he did. If he regrets the mitzvahs that he did, over there, in fact, he loses his previous chusam. I'm sorry? Exactly. You could do tshuva on mitzvahs just like you do on the Baal. Exakt a Helge Gemara weiter. Kol sheyeshnoi. I was wondering where it was. Kol sheyeshnoi b'mikra u'b'mishnah u'b'derech eretz. If someone learns Gemara, he learns Mishnah, he learns derech eretz. And the Tiferes Yisrael elaborates that there's three yesodis that a person has to be a mensch. Emunah, he has to have proper emunah. That you learn out of Mikra, Tanakh, and the Tiferes Yisrael elaborates on when you learn Tanakh, you have to learn it with proper Abayim, you have to learn it with different Chazal, because Rahman al-Khlan, the Fedaya abuse even the Goyim. They twist and turn and they abuse and they bastardize the Tanakh to bring out wrong, fake messages that they have. So you have to learn even Mikra after the Chler with Messiah. Mishnah is referring to Pu'ulasai. Mishnah teaches us the mitzvahs, which are the pu'ulos that a man has to do. Ubederech eretz is referring to midos. Those three components of a person is what makes a person normal and safe. Therefore, doesn't mean what? Sorry? Doesn't mean what? The Tiferes Yisrael teaches you as midos. And that you learn from Gemara. You learn it from Maises Chazal, right? Such a person won't do Averis too much. If you have these three wound together in a cable, it can hold up the Golden Gate Bridge, or for you, the Verrazano Bridge. That's not going to unravel very quickly. But never mind, Mensch, because he doesn't have the main components that allow you to function properly as a human being. That's right. But Nishka Mensch is a better word. It encompasses everything. So let's do a word in English that encompasses that. Even like everyone uses that Mensch. What are tzaddikim compared to Noam? Is that an Elon that's in a beautiful Torah place. The noifai, one branch, is hanging over into a makam tuma. Even the biggest tzaddik has some Averis. By doing tshuva on niktzitz noifai, if you cut off that branch that's in a bad place, once again the entire tree is situated in makam tire. Taka kadosh baruch hu maybe yisur mal tzaddikim b'olam hazeh kadei sheyishu olam haba. Kadosh baruch hu wants to be menaked their avonos, so they should be pure in olam haba. Shenemar Boyer Shishcha Mitzar. The beginning it's going to be difficult. It'll become great. It'll become geschmack. Velama. I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's a sin. Ulumar Shayim Daimim Bailam Azeh. Leilan Shekulam B'Makim Toma. V'Noifay Not L'Makim Tire. The opposite. Niktat Noifay. Once they're paid back for the good deeds that they did, Kuloi I made b'makom tumah. The whole Elon is now b'makom tumah. Kacha Kadosh Baruch Hu mashpia lehen toiva l'rishayim ba'olam hazeh k'dei l'tardon uloi rishayim l'madrega hatachtoina shenemar yesh derech yoser l'fnei yish. There's ways that look good to somebody at first glance, but v'achrisa darkimovus but lead to darkimovus. The first time someone takes cocaine, maybe I'm a little bit old-fashioned now, it's fentanyl, it feels geschmack, but then he gets addicted and it becomes dark him. Every bad lifestyle choice is that way. What's one extra cookie going to do? But it's like Lay's. Can you eat just one? Ukvar Hoyer of Tarfin was a Kedim, Masubin Balis Beis Nitza, Belud. They were sitting and learning in the Aliyah Beis Nitza in Lud. The following question was asked of them: Talmud Torah or Maisa Goda? What's greater, learning or doing mitzvahs? Oh, morning. Then there are Tarfin Vomar. Tarfin answered, and he said, of course, Maisa Goda. Maisa is greater. Why are we learning? To do Maisa Toivim. So doing Maisa Toivim is more important. Then there are Bekiva Vomar. No, Talmud Goda. And then the Kulan Vomar, and then everybody agreed Talmud Goda, that Talmud may be L'dei Maisa. Learning is more important than doing mitzvahs, because learning leads to doing mitzvahs. If you're learning to do mitzvahs, so therefore learning is the greatest. Tanya Yosy Omer, Gadol Talmud shekodam lechala arboim shana. It was the mitzvah of Talmud Torah was given before even the mitzvah of Chala by 40 years. Let's think about it, because they got the Torah in the Midbar right when they came out of Mitzrayim, and they didn't have the mitzvah to give Chala till they entered Eretz Yisrael. But Vayachem we learned, so there's a 40-year gap. So they had a mitzvah to learn Torah 40 years before they had the mitzvah of Challah. Now, when did they have a mitzvah to give Trumas? Only after Kibush V'chiluk, which we learned several times recently, but that was 14 years later. 40 plus 14 is 54, which means they got the Torah 54 years before the Trumas and Maishus, Chamishim Barba. And once they started Trumas and Maishus, that was year 1, then the 7th year was Shemitah. So what's 54? If 54 is year 1, then year 7 is 60. So l'shmitim shishim ba'achas. I'm sorry, it will be 61, because Shemitah is mishtamit at the end of the year. And liyovlois, all you do is add another 50 years. It works out to mea v'sholoi. In fact, when mea v'sholoi, 1 second, it's mea v'arba havin. It's 104 years. So tomorrow, chasav yovel mitchilas ayu mishamit. Yovel is mishamit at the end of year 49. Therefore, we say after 103 years after Kabbalah Torah, they feared the first Yovel.
Ich meine, as the learning of the mitzvah was before.
Yeah.
Some of those do other mitzvahs that was right away. This mitzvah itself, the learning from the teaching
was all that much time before that. So you see, Talmud comes first.
Yeah.
Very good, very good, very good. Yeah. The same way there's a mechiv to learn before there's a mechiv to do. Kach dinai koidem l'maisa. So too, when they mon us, when they punish us, we're going to be punished for the Torah that we didn't learn before we're punished for a ma'asim. If you pot yourself in water, and that's going to be the first thing that one's going to be punished for. However, it works the opposite way as well. So to Ischar comes first. Why? Which refers to Torah, Rashi says, Tishmer and Mishnah, and then they'll do the Maisim of the Torah. Well, they'll watch the Torah doing the Maisim. So you see the Limud comes before the Maisim. Beautiful. Now we need to see a very important Tosfos, because everybody knows the famous question. What's the first question they ask you, Lachamei Vesra? So if what's happens that says they get the Chilas in this Torah, the first question they ask you is the Sas of the Sas of the. So I want to say over, that's going to be the answer. I want to say over first from our wonderful Ruv Zin, Matchat Tzvi Shorts. He once got up to speak in Nagid, and he says that I think there's a Pshaila. So trying to come up with Shemaim. It could be it wasn't him, about somebody else. Maybe it was the famous Batkin. There's a Batkin who was a Gabi one of the rabbis. So I don't know who it was, but his Nachmai Vers, and they're going to ask me what's the man Numan. So let's say his name was Chaim. I'll say my name is Moshe. So they asked him. Well, that's not your name. Your name is Chaim. So he said, so if you know my name already, why did you ask? Then they're going to ask me Nasasa v'Nasata B'Amun. So I'm going to ask the Malach back. Good question. But let me ask you a question, Mr. Malach. Did you ever raise children? No. Did you ever get married? No. Did you ever send children to school and pay tuition? No. Did you ever pay their camp? No. Did you ever pay their seminary? No. Did you ever marry them off and support them? No. Okay, so I'll tell you what. You do that, then come back and ask me if Nasata, then we'll talk. So that's his story. But a couple of Tosh has to go out to the Kasha. We gotta move fast. Tosh has to go out to the Kasha. If we move up over here, ain't chilas dina shalom ela the return. Perk Tosh is vad amar beperk b'memed likin kishem machnis and adam ladin oimrim loy. Doesn't even say they ask him. Oimrim loy. They tell him nosasa v'nesata b'amuna. So Tosh is true. Hanudavkalin in shela to show alan loy al masu mato. They ask him about his business first. And when we call Mokaim, when they actually tasking him and punish him, yes, that might be asked first, but it's not acted upon first. So I can see from Dovi's look, okay, sure, it's a technical answer, but Lamaita, why? Right? There's got to be a reason for it. So there's a beautiful Vilna Goyen that the Marit Skias quotes in Shabbos Lamed Aleph. I couldn't find the Gemara anymore that it has the Marit Skias in it. Even the old Gemara don't have the Marit Skias. So I just went to Shabbos Lamed Aleph, and I'm going to have to quote it from memory. So it says in the Gemara in Shabbos quotes this halacha. Amar Resh Lakish, Ma'idich say v'haya emuna sitecha chois in Yeshuais. So the emunah of your time, chois in Yeshuais is a protection of Yeshuais, chachmas v'das. And if we look at the rest of the pasuk, v'haya emuna sitecha chois in Yeshuais, chachmas v'das, yiras Hashem hi aitzare. So the Gemara darshans as follows: emunas zeh seder zrayim. Asid, itecha, zeh seder moed. Chaysin, zeh seder noshim. Yeshua zeh seder nasik. So let's say, emunah zeh seder zrayim, because everyone knows nobody has to have more emunah than a farmer. Because he knows when he plants, if the Rebbe doesn't make it rain, of course, every business needs emunah. But by farmers, it's very apparent. Itecha, your time, zeh seder moed. That's what moed is about times of the year. Chaysin, your protection, zeh seder noshim, right? A person gets a protector for his wife and vice versa. Yeshua is saved from problems, Zenizikin, because that saves us from having massive social issues. We have rules. Chachmas, that say the Kachim, that's referring to Kadishim. Vidas is referring to say the Taharis. Okay? Afilu Achi, nevertheless, Yiras Hashem, Hi Aitzarai, so Kraji, Hu Ha'ikra Chosha Beinov, Letzar, Velasai School is occurring. Do things to remember things. Amarava, V'shosha Machnisan Adam Ladin, Ayrim Loi, Nasasa V'nasata B'amun, Kavata Itam L'Torah, Osakta B'Perya V'Revya, Tipisi L'Yeshua, Pilpalta B'Chachma, Heivanta Dover Mitach Dover, Filohachi, Yiras Hashem Yitzari in, Eloi Loi, Moshe L'Adam Shalom L'Shluchai, Heli Korchitin L'Aliyah, Halach V'Heloi, Amalei Raftali B'Hen Kaf, Humton Amalei Lav, Amalei Mutav Amalei. So the Vilna Gaon says that these 6 Sidurim are parallel to the 6 questions that they ask. So Nasasa and Nasata B'Amuna is actually a question about Torah, but it's referring to Emuna, it's referring to Seder Zroyim. So Nasasa and Nasata B'Amuna means, did you learn Seder Zroyim? Did you learn the part of the Torah that talks about Emuna? Itechos Moyed, Kavati Itam L'Torah. Sure, you have to make Oishik for us on their heritage, but did you always make sure to make time for learning Torah? So Kavati in the Torah is also a question of Torah, but it's also but really Amun is also Torah. Chaysin is Noshim, Asakta B'Peri V'Revi. Yeshua is Nezikin. See, peacefully Yeshua. I'm not sure why that was. What's the parallel? But the Gra goes through every single one to show that it's referring to a different one that's Sidorah. Kum Dechais, Nesasa Nesata B'Amuna is also asking about that. So Mele Tanakh Ashenu. So not only see it for this up. I hear. Okay, gewaltig. So let's see the heilige Gemara weiter. Sagt der Gemara, Amr Rabbi Yochanan. Oh, sorry, I have to learn the Dibra Amatzel. Kol she'einu loy b'mikra v'lo Mishnah and ish kamensh. Amr Rabbi Yochanan u'pasol la'edus. He will also be pasol la'edus. Why would he be pasol la'edus? Rashi, the kibon she'einu min ha'yishuv ein makbal alatzmoi. So this is a guy who's a wild man, and he doesn't have even self-respect. So therefore, a lie will make up because he has no respect for himself. Which is the next thing. If someone eats in the shuk, somebody who has no respect for himself and he'll eat in public, something like that shows that this fellow is not a person with any self-worth, and therefore he's capable of doing anything. So we're going to have to talk about this in a minute. Reb Zilberstein speaks about this. He's like a dog. What does this mean? The kosher vectosis, I'll give you many examples of Gedolei Olam who were for sure kosher ladies that ate in the streets. And my apostle ladies. My apostle ladies who Hamina b'Yishalmi, Reb Shimon b'Rabbi have an ochel b'shukah. Fazir Reb Meir Amaloi ein shvach l'Talmud lechel b'shuk. Mashma d'lach ein kfeda. Talmud Chacham shouldn't be eating in the street, but for a regular person there shouldn't be a problem. The Pirush Rach the Hachamari shechoyte v'ochel. He was grabbing food from somebody else. He was stealing somebody else's food. That's someone who's apostle ladies. In time came pshita the apostle, the gazlan. But it doesn't do the oichel. The guy's a gazlan. Shloimar shechoyte pachis mishav pruta. Takes a little here. Tosis is going to give us a typical example of what we'll remember from when we were kids. Inami shegozol davar shein makbid alav. From Eliyol Mefarish, in the olden days, people used to go to the fruit store. They would cup a grape from the thing. I'm just tasting it. I'm just tasting it, right? So that's what they would do. I remember my mother took me shopping, and she wanted to feed me food while she was shopping to keep me calm. I remember what she would do. She would take a bag of grapes, let's say, and she would, remember the man used to wait right there. They didn't wait by the cashier. There was a man right by the fruit stand that would wait, right on how much you weigh. So she would first weigh it, right on how much you weighed. Then she would give me teeth, but then she would pay for it properly. But now that I'm saying this, I just clicked this memory that my mother thought would have to wait first. Not only then would she let me eat some. He would go around to taste. He want to taste it, see if I like it, and that's how he would eat. So that's what we're talking about. Now it makes sense why we call him a kelev. So this is an important line because there are those who hold that if you eat snack food that's designed to be eaten, like a bag of potato chips, that's not a problem with the problem with b'shuk is if you sit down and if you walk with a bagel and lox sandwich, that could be something that normally you sit down for. A normal mensch sits down and eats it as a meal. That's not a problem with b'shuk. But like sucking a candy, that's normal. It's a normal thing to do. So it could be that wouldn't be a problem. So there's a whole big shaila. A lot of restaurants have outdoor seating, outdoor dining. Is that called enim yishuv? Or no, that's the normal way to do it. So it could be that's not a problem at all. Okay, zok to Gemara weiter. Zok to Gemara weiter. To halacha l'maisa, you have to ask your local Orthodox rabbi. Omar Rav Ida ber Avin, halacha yeshar. Halacha is like the yesharimim who holds posulates. Dorish bar kapara. Ragzin, if someone loses his temper and gets angry, will he accomplish anything? What benefit will he have from it? What good will come out of it? Will it also be zero zilch, nada. Doesn't help. All that will happen that Rashi is alakichesh besori bergzenusai, and like the klum. He doesn't get anything from his anger. Adam toiv, but for a good person, matimin oshim and primaisov, we let him enjoy the paris of his maisim, like we learned. Now another halacha is v'chol she'eni loy b'mikra, loy b'mishnah, loy b'derech eretz, dor hanomim. What you should do is you should make a neder not have enough of him, meaning stay far away from him, because only bad things will come out of that relationship. Because a guy who has nothing to do, he's not involved in anything. So Rashi, what he's going to do is he's going to sit and deal with what's others. He'll make fun of everybody else. That's a very bad environment for a person. Stay away. Baruch Hashem, we were zoiche to finish the first paragraph of Kiddushin, and later, hadnu lach isha niknes, hadnu lach isha niknes, hadnu lach isha niknes. Gewaltig. Zogt the heilige Gemara weiter. I just want to point out that the halachas are written in the Torah. We learned about the three things that the Pharisee speaks out are the three things represented by Mikra, Mishnah, and Derech Eretz. Midas. How come midas are mitzvahs in the Torah? They're very, very important, right? Teretz is because there's shiurim, anger. The Torah couldn't say you're not to get angry because sometimes you have to get angry. Sometimes at least you have to feign anger to make a point. Moshe Rabbeinu sometimes scrubbed at people. He scrubbed at Dasan Varvira. Was he really angry? No, but sometimes you need to use anger. So midas are things that have to be carefully weighed, how and when. It's not something that could be absolute.
That's why it's called midas.
Oh, very good. Tammuz, very good.
The Rambam is called the diet.
Very interesting. Zok the Heilige Mishnah. Ha'ish mekadesh, boyu b'shluchai. Now we're talking about marriage from the perspective of the man, not ha'isha niknas. Ha'ish mekadesh, boy with himself, b'shluchai, and with a shliach. I have to hurry up because I have to get one joke in. Ha'isha miskadeshes, boyu b'shlucha. A woman could be miskadeshes even if she only appoints a shliach. Ha'ish mekadesh is bidai kishu naira. A father could be mekadesh's daughter when she's a naira. Avada kol shekei daktana. Boyu b'shluchai, him and with a shliach. Rashi asked, "How did look at naira?" What's up? It says naira, if even aktana. The Gemara is going to say a person shouldn't marry off a daughter aktana because it might not lead to a good marriage. Frank the Gemara, it says so if we know he can be mekadesh for shliach, boy mi boy, the Mishnah could have just said aish mekadesh for shluchai, right? Of course, he could be making Kiddushin himself. And Tosfos says you don't say loizu afsu when it's one word. If it's two cases, you'll say loizu afsu. But in one phrase, mekadesh boy b'shluchai, there you won't say loizu afsu. Amr Rabbi Yosef, mitzvah boy Yosef mi b'shluchai. It's a greater mitzvah to do a mitzvah on your own than it is to do a mitzvah through a shliach. And the Gemara gives examples of people who prepared for Shabbos by themselves. But I want to share a story with a Ber Zolti. Ber Zolti was once in the B'Shmer Shabbos afternoon, Parshas Boy. Now, normally yeshivas would give an off Shabbos Parshas B'Shalach, not Parshas Boy. And there was a bacher there who was a guest. So he said, Shalom Aleichem, and he asked him, what are you doing here? So the boy said, I'm here for Shabbos because I have an off Shabbos. So Ber Zolti says, I don't think so, because if I remember correctly, the off Shabbos is B'Shalach, not Boy. But I know why you're here. Because mitzvah Boy, Yosy mi b'shluchai. You're probably here to see a girl. Okay, we'll stop here because Slichas is in 10 minutes. Shkoyach.